We all have parts of ourselves we don't like to acknowledge. Those parts we bury deep down, believing that if we ignore them, they'll disappear. But what if I told you the more we try to repress these parts of ourselves, the stronger they become? What if facing them could set us free? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, introduced the idea of the shadow, the side of us we reject. It's the traits, behaviors, and emotions we suppress because we think they're unacceptable. But here's the truth. The more we ignore the shadow, the darker and scarier it becomes. It doesn't disappear. It waits, and it shows itself when we least expect it. Think about your own life. How often do you procrastinate, turn to distractions, or avoid responsibility? These habits aren't just random. They stem from a complex interplay between the persona, ego, and the shadow. They offer temporary relief, yet keep us trapped in a cycle of avoidance. We tell ourselves, "I'll do better tomorrow," or "next time will be different." But in avoiding the discomfort of facing our deeper truths, the shadow becomes darker and scarier, fed by the silence of those promises. Why does this happen? Because our ego, the conscious version of ourselves, wants to protect us from the discomfort of facing what lies beneath. But this protection has a price. It keeps us stuck. A big part of the shadow is the fear of being judged. We suppress parts of ourselves that we fear others won't accept, whether it's an insecurity, a desire, or an opinion. We often hide it to avoid rejection. But here's the truth. Judgment isn't as powerful as we think. The more we embrace and express our true selves, the less we are affected by the opinions of others. When we accept our own shadow, we no longer fear others. Judgment, it loses its power over us. The shadow isn't bad in itself. It's not in its nature to be bad. The only one who makes a shadow take the form of a monster is we. Maybe it's a talent you're afraid to share, a dream you've abandoned, or a part of your personality you've hidden away that doesn't go away. It stays with you, showing up as unexpected emotions. Anger, sadness, shame. Shame is often seen as a catalyst for change, but when it becomes overwhelming, it paralyzes us, keeping us from moving forward. That's when the shadow becomes dangerous, feeding on guilt and spiraling into anxiety or depression, creating the so-called monster. But here's the key. The shadow isn't your enemy. It only grows monstrous when you try to suppress it. Jung believed true awakening happens when we face the shadow head-on. By accepting the parts of ourselves we've hidden, we unlock unknown strength and resilience we never knew we had. The shadow isn't just about dealing with your personal darkness. It's also about your relationships with others. The shadow can influence how we relate to people in ways we may not even realize. Think about the people you find hardest to connect with. Could it be that they mirror parts of your own shadow? These relationships challenge us, bringing our unconscious patterns to the surface and giving us a chance to confront and heal these buried aspects of ourselves. Another powerful way the shadow manifests is through creativity. The parts of ourselves we suppress often hold the keys to our true creative potential. The fear of judgment or failure can keep us from expressing our authentic ideas. But when we embrace the shadow, we unlock creative freedom, allowing our authentic voice to flow. Unburdened by doubt, try to talk with your own shadow. This one being an entity of everything you repressed or fear in yourself during your life. A moment of trauma, for instance. See if the shadow responds to you. You might be surprised or even shocked with the things it's telling you. This bond is fundamental to achieve the shadow work. But worry not. You won't need to do this every day. Because one day will come when you try to talk with your shadow, and it will not respond. That moment is where no longer there is a he and a you in yourself. But now you and the shadow are a whole in that process. You'll uncover truths about yourself that lead to healing and deep awakening. The shadow is also an essential part of your personal growth journey. True growth doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, it comes from embracing it. When we stop running from the parts of ourselves we fear or don't understand, we begin to see the transformation. We become more resilient, more whole. And when we face our shadow, we no longer experience inner conflict in the same way. The constant tug-of-war between our ego and the unconscious mind starts to settle. We find clarity, peace, and a new sense of balance within ourselves. We stop fighting against who we are and start embracing all parts of ourselves, allowing us to move forward without being held back by self-doubt or shame. The shadow isn't a burden, it's part of your journey. When you face it, you transform the darkness into light. The parts of you that felt like weaknesses become your greatest strengths. So, what are you avoiding? What have you been running from? It's time to stop. If what you heard resonated with you or sparked a new perspective, I'd love for you to show your support by dropping a like. It's a small action that helps me keep creating content like this. And if you're interested in diving deeper into these kinds of conversations, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If what you heard resonated with you or sparked a new perspective, I'd love for you to show your support by dropping a like. It's a small action that helps me keep creating content like this. And if you're interested in diving deeper into these kinds of conversations, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know how the video impacted you, or if you've experienced something similar with your own shadow. Let's start a conversation. I want this to be a place where we can all learn and grow together. Thanks again for being here. Take care, and I'm excited to see you in the next one.